Xbox is topping the charts. We did not see this latest collab coming. We got a major update on some highly anticipated Xbox first-party games. Let's discuss. What's up, guys, and welcome to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is dedicated to all things Xbox. I'm coming at you with another news update. You know how I do things. This is kind of how the channel got started. I gather a bunch of stories from around the video game industry that have to do with Xbox in some way, and I share them with you to make sure that you are Xbox ready. But although these news updates, those are kind of my main thing, my main squeeze, I've been trying to experiment with some other content, and I'm working on branching out to other platforms. I'm looking to get into streaming again. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, if you like my content, if you like Xbox, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. But let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen, because we have a lot to discuss. It's been a busy week for Xbox. The big story this week is obviously Starfield. Your feed is probably flooded, absolutely flooded with Starfield content. I shared my brief first impressions about the game last video, but Xbox has some other stuff going on besides Starfield, guys. I'm here to remind you of that. For example, did you know that Xbox insiders are currently testing out a feature that will let you upload your clips and your screenshots automatically to Microsoft's OneDrive? I know that's probably not the most exciting update that they've ever worked on, but it could be useful to some people out there, maybe some of you watching. You know what, I'm not entirely sure who asked for this feature, but as it stands right now, Microsoft OneDrive is the most straightforward way to get your screenshots off of your Xbox console and onto, say, a desktop or a laptop. So then you can go and put them in a YouTube video, you can edit them further and things like that. Before you say anything, yes, I know that you can upload your screenshots and your clips to the Xbox Live network. But once you do that, there's no way to retrieve it on a desktop because the Xbox app on PC does not have a captures section, and they're doing away with the Xbox Game Bar, which let you do just that. For me, for some reason, my Microsoft OneDrive is always full. It's always telling me that it's full, and I can't for the life of me remember when I deliberately put something or back something up onto my OneDrive. According to The Verge, a new wizard will help Xbox owners walk through the process of syncing clips to OneDrive, including the option to upload existing ones. You don't have to upload your entire existing collection, and you can choose the ones you want individually. Microsoft does warn that if you have a lot of clips, then the upload process could take a couple of days as it runs on the background. But Tom Warren in this article goes on to say that the uploading clips process, it hasn't really improved in any significant way. It takes a long time to upload clips no matter what you do. This is a problem that Xbox has been dealing with for a little bit now, for a minute now. I know a lot of people have issues, including me, with their DVR, their capture, sharing their clips once they're done capturing it. And since the beginning of this generation, they were like, it's gonna be priority for us guys, we're gonna make it easier, more convenient. But it seems that like with the taking away of Xbox Game Bar on Windows, that one weird period of time when they were like, we're taking away the ability for you to upload directly to Twitter, and then, oh no, actually we're giving that back. It seems like they can't quite figure out a sweet spot for game sharing, for uploading clips, backing them up, and things like that. If you don't find Microsoft OneDrive particularly exciting, how about new Xbox consoles? Yes, remember when a couple of months ago Xbox announced at their showcase in June, they were going to be introducing a Black Series S with a full terabyte of storage. Again, with all this craziness going on and all this excitement for Starfield, you might have forgotten about it, but it's actually launched today. And I gotta say, guys, the Black Series S, it looks clean. I like my white Series S. I like the design of it, but for some reason, it's like this black on black. It's just clean. I don't know what else to say. And with this carbon black Series S, they address one of the biggest problems that Series S owners have. They don't have enough storage. They can't store a lot of games on their little Series S, the little 512 gigabytes that they have. Aesthetically, I think this is really cool, and at $350, it's still a lot cheaper than buying a white Series S and any of the storage options that we have available to us now to expand our SSD, either the Seagate or the WD Black card. Overall reactions to the release of this carbon black Series S seem to be positive, like when I'm looking through comments and looking through Twitter replies and things like that. But at the same time, a lot of people have been talking about the Series S back and forth. Is it holding back Xbox? Is it not? I've definitely thrown in my 2 cents about the matter. I honestly keep going back and forth on it. I like the Series S. I I think it has a place in the modern video game market, but sometimes I question, like, what if we didn't have a Series S? Like, what would that look like for Xbox? I'm allowed to talk about this now. I actually got to go to an event where I got to play the preview build of Forza Motorsport. It was down at the Peterson Automobile Museum in downtown LA, and in addition to playing the preview build, I also got to sit down one-on-one with Chris Isaki, and I checked in with him about the Series S, because back in June, back at the showcase when he was showing the press the first preview of Forza Motorsport, he mentioned that the majority of his playtime when it comes to motorsport is on the Series S and that he really enjoys it and that it looks great. Talking with him definitely shifted my perspective a little bit, it gave me a little bit to think about, what with all this drama with the Series S, not being able to run Baldur's Gate split screen and what it can and cannot do. I'll have more details on that interview in another video when I go like full on with my thoughts about the preview for Motorsport, but it looks like the Series S is still putting up a fight. It actually turned out fine running Starfield, so it looks like it's got some life in it. Switching on over to the Series X though, there is actually a new Xbox Series X floating out there, and no, it is not a mid-gen refresh, it's not a Series X Pro or Plus, they already said no, we're not going to be doing that. It's not the rumored all-digital Series X. No, this special edition Xbox comes from a collaboration which I never expected. Xbox teamed up with One Piece, specifically the live-action version of One Piece that's going on Netflix right now. Now, as with most of these special edition Series X and S's that they put out, this is part of a sweepstakes that they're running through their Twitter account. And there's going to be two winners to the sweepstakes. One will get the special edition console as it's pictured here, plus a stand for that console that includes Luffy's hat, and that to me, that's really cool. And I'm not even like a huge fan of One Piece like that. I've watched like a little bit after Arlong Park for people who have seen it. I haven't watched like all 1,200 episodes or however many there are, but even to me, even like a casual One Piece fan, I'm like, that would be pretty cool, man. Like having my Xbox and having Luffy's hat just chilling there as a constant reminder to always push myself and never give up. So the stand with Luffy's hat, that's going to go to the first prize winner. There's also going to be another winner that will get the special edition Xbox, and also a stand that has a map of the One Piece world. Not as cool as the Luffy's hat, but still pretty cool, I would say. You have until September 18th, I believe, to go on over to the Xbox Twitter account, find the tweet where they're talking about this, and do whatever you need to do in order to enter your name, throw your hat into the ring for the sweepstakes. Looking at this though, it makes me wonder how far they're gonna push their like new console wrap technology. I showed off the Starfield one that Xbox sent me in another video, but we also know that they're coming out with two other console wraps. They're camo. One is gray camo and one is blue. And looking at this One Piece Special Edition Xbox, I'm wondering if they're gonna include any other designs, whether they be anime related or game related. Like, it'd be really cool to see if they put out a motorsport one, or when Stalker 2 comes out next year, if they would put a console wrap out for that. Now in this video, I have kind of avoided talking about Starfield, or put it off a little bit up until this point, because I've already talked a lot about that game. I, did a whole video about my first impressions and what I think is kind of tricky about reviewing a game the size of Starfield. I've been talking about it a bunch leading up until that video, but now I'm going to talk about it again, so I'm sorry for anyone who's out there who does not care about Starfield. I know there's a couple of you out there. It reviewed pretty well with all of the major publications. Yeah, there are some people who are like, I don't really care for this game. It's definitely not perfect, but overall, it looks like there's a lot of people out there enjoying it, even in early access. I don't know why that I feel relieved about that for some reason. It's like, I didn't even work on the game, and I feel like I've been part of the team. I can't imagine what the people who actually work at Bethesda are feeling right now. But how much of a hit is it, Ray? How can you actually quantify it, because it's on Game Pass and they don't really like release how many people are playing it on Game Pass and all sorts of other complicated stuff? Well, over on a site called SteamDB, Starfield has already apparently hit a peak concurrent player count of over 200,000 players. According to this PureXbox.com article, at the time they were writing, it peaked specifically at 234,502 players. And they go on to remind us that that's concurrent players. That's players booting it up all at the same time. And that doesn't even include the people who are playing it on Xbox. Now, keep in mind that this is still early access numbers, and specifically on Steam, if you want to play in early access, you have to pay $100. So doing the math right here, that is well over $23 million a pretty decent chunk of change for Steam and for Xbox and Bethesda, all parties involved. Obviously not enough to probably recoup the investment right off the bat that they made into Starfield and all the marketing that they did and all the stuff that they sent out to creators like me. Like this really sick jacket that I showed off the other day. I don't know, it's kind of hard to like show it off right here. Bam, bam, bam. I'm just gonna put it on, why not? But yeah, overall, I am glad that Starfield, you know, sure, not everyone's gonna like it. Sure, there's gonna be a couple of salty people out there who can't play it, but there are a lot of people out there who are enjoying it. I certainly enjoy it, and that just, I'm relieved. I don't know. I know that's like kind of a weird response, but you know, being an Xbox fan and running an Xbox fan YouTube channel, you know that sometimes game releases, they don't always go right. But not only are people enjoying it, it seems that people, performance-wise, it seems to be running solid for everyone. Yes, there are like classic Bethesda bugs. I'll be playing this game and sometimes like someone will just appear out of the sky, or like someone will be walking down the stairs and their legs are like all wonky. But yeah, huge congratulations to Bethesda and to everyone who worked on Starfield. I hope people continue to enjoy it as the years go on. I just know that the modders are gonna go crazy on this. The modders already added DLSS into it, and Bethesda already confirmed that modders are gonna be able to make their own planets and things like that. So I can't imagine what this game is gonna look like in like a year, 2 years, and beyond. But although people are caught up in Starfield, that is the big topic of conversation for Xbox, they got a lot more in the tank. Xbox leadership has described the release of Starfield as the starting gun for Xbox first-party games. The idea being, boom, Starfield's gonna take off and then hand the baton over to Motorsport in a month's time, and then 2024 will come around and boom, they'll hand the baton off to Avowed, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2, Towerborn, Stalker 2. It looks like we're finally getting into those years that Xbox was promising us with the launch of the Series X, where we were gonna get a steady stream of first-party content, exclusive third-party stuff, and just overall like awesome day one additions to Game Pass. But chances are you already know about all that stuff. What else have they got cooking up? We know they're sitting on a billion different studios, especially after all these acquisitions that they've made. Well, for anyone wondering, we actually got some pretty awesome updates regarding some highly anticipated first-party games. One of them being The Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, it feels kind of crazy to be talking about the next Elder Scrolls when Bethesda just launched Starfield. Or I guess it's like Starfield isn't even officially launched yet. It launches on the 6th, and I'm talking like it's officially out. So yeah, it's definitely crazy to be talking about the next Elder Scrolls when Starfield hasn't even officially launched yet. But I gotta be real, guys, the Elder Scrolls, that's my jam, man. Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Honestly, my favorite out of this three would definitely have to be Oblivion, but that's my jam. Like, that's the kind of Bethesda RPG that I like. There are like two different kinds of Bethesda fans, right? There are people who are really into Fallout, and then there are people who are really into Elder Scrolls. Some just, they love it all. But me personally, I lean more towards the fantasy side of things, the Elder Scrolls side of things. Well, apparently just the other day, Pete Hines was talking to a Spanish-based game news outlet called Vandal, where he revealed that the Elder Scrolls 6 has officially moved into pre-production. Yes, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is officially in development, the Elder Scrolls 6, but as you can probably tell by the word pre-production, it is in the very, 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 very early stages of development. It's like simultaneously cool and simultaneously kind of a bummer, because that means it's like, what, like at least 5-6 years away. And apparently in that same interview, Pete Hines reminded everyone that everyone at Bethesda is focused on Starfield right now. So yeah, it's nice to see that it's officially in development, I guess, but it's far out, and that's kind of what Xbox leadership keeps reminding us. Phil Spencer has spoken on this in the past. He's like, yep, pretty far away, guys. Don't expect any updates about anything significant anytime soon. Now, there are some theories floating around out there. For a long time, I thought this was going to take place, this next Elder Scrolls was going to take place in Valenwood, which is the home of the Wood Elves. But since then, people are starting to speculate that's actually going to take place in Hammerfell, which is the home of the Redguards. And it's just crazy to think about what is going to be in this next Elder Scrolls, like the leap that it's going to take, or hopefully the leap that it's going to take when it finally comes out. We also got an update on another anticipated first-party game being worked on by Machine Games, and it's slightly better news because this game is further along in its development process. Todd Howard himself seemed to confirm in a recent interview with GQ that the Indiana Jones game is about halfway through its production cycle. He also said, and I quote, "They've got the whole Nazi killing thing down and they're doing a really great job." Now, I guess this is more of like a minor development on this game, because we don't know anything specific about where they are in the stages of development. But at the same time, like, no news is kind of good news on that front. We haven't heard any drama going on with this game, no developers like up and leaving or like any like creative differences going on with the team, which in my opinion is good news, especially with Indiana Jones. This is like the first Xbox first party game that will be tied to a major IP that has been established for many, many years. A lot of people are looking to this as Xbox's answer to Spider-Man. I know a lot of people are hungry for that. Like, Xbox, they don't have games based on like superheroes, they don't have games based on like movies, so this Indiana Jones game could be a big turning point for them whenever it comes out. I also know a lot of people are hoping that this game is Xbox's answer to Uncharted over on PlayStation, and that could be a huge thing for them too, because as we know, Xbox, they don't really do the whole third-person action story-driven game like PlayStation does. A game like Indiana Jones, if it is indeed turning out to be the Xbox version of Uncharted, that's like easy game award fodder. Games like that do super well at award shows because they're more like movies, they're more like artful, artistic, they're more like dramatic, I guess, which in the long run could really help Xbox out. If you're looking for a game that's more on the immediate horizon, we got good news for anyone who's waiting around for Baldur's Gate 3 to show up on Xbox. Now, you've probably heard about the saga surrounding this game and its journey onto Xbox consoles from a lot of different people, including me. I've talked about it a lot. There was a whole back and forth. It wasn't coming to Xbox because of split screen on the Series S. It wasn't working out. And then they were like, okay, you can drop the split screen on Series S if you bring it to Xbox consoles. There's that back and forth, and now it's official. It's gonna come out on Xbox sometime this year. That was not a very good like summary of it, but whatever. The game has already been out for a while on PC. It came out in August, and it's supposed to launch on PlayStation consoles on September 6th, the same day as Starfield. Those PlayStation guys gotta play something, am I right? I'm just kidding. I don't do any of that console war stuff. I'm joking. And in a recent interview, the director of Baldur's Gate 3, he mentioned that the Xbox version is going to come out sometime in between September and November. And I just think that's great news. I know a lot of people, it's not going to be your kind of game, especially because of the whole like turn-based D&D aspect. Baldur's Gate 3 honestly wasn't even really on my radar, and I just kind of picked it up on a whim after, you know, everyone was talking about it, everyone was raving about it, and it's just become one of my favorite games that I've played this year. And I'm really excited that my Xbox brothers, my console brothers, will be able to enjoy it as well, and we'll be able to play it together. That's the coolest part. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox news I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready, and we'll see you in the next video.